greeted me a couple of weeks later, said, "A friend of mine served you a sandwich in the so-and-so hotel in Cardiff. Would you care to comment?" And that's where it all kind of kicked up, it's where it all started. And of course I didn't comment, it's pointless. And anyway, we were sworn to secrecy, those of us that had shot this Night of the Doctor. And the secrecy was easy. I mean, it's easy to maintain secrecy if all you need to do is not tell anybody what you just did. That's the easy bit. You know, if all it involves is keeping still, that's nothing. But the secrecy for those people, particularly people who either on the crew or people on the design or technicians that might have copies or parts of copies.
Doing the edits.
Or doing the edits. Yeah, those are the people that, in a way, we rely on to keep the thing quiet. And so that's where, and that tends to be obviously where most of the leaks happen. For example, as I'm sure most of you are now aware, 5 or 6 episodes of the current series of Doctor Who just leaked online. When we did this panel at the weekend with Moffat, you know, he was still kind of raging about that. He said, "I know where it happened, I know exactly how it happened. Somebody left something on an unsecure server." That's as simple as that. It's the age we live in. But quite aside from that, there's a kind of spirit of spoilers.
Because it won't be the final version.
Which I don't really understand.
It won't be the finished version. So people who see it won't have the special effects on it.
But the idea that there are people out there that, you know, regard that as a certain cachet, you know, that you can unearth a secret newspapers one. I don't understand the spirit of it. Moffat said at the weekend about the Night of the Doctor that what pleased him most was that he was able, in this day and age, to spring a surprise. Simple as that on television. He said it's a dying thing. You know, it wasn't long ago when we were kids that, you know, you'd have to tune in next week to see the resolve, the cliffhanger that they left you. You know, and in those days it was perfectly easy to do it.
Yeah.
But you can't do it nowadays. It's too much media.
It was amazing they did manage to keep it so quiet. I mean, we knew for some time because, you know, you talked about it.
But you never told me, did you?
Oh, didn't we?
So it's like this kind of atmosphere.
I know, because I didn't know if you knew.
Yeah. I'm not sure about your level of clearance, so I might not speak to you. You know,
well, no, because Steve told us about putting in all the companion names.
Oh, right, well, he didn't tell me that he told you that.
Right, there we go.
Fair enough. It's a cell system turning you familiar with international terror.
Was it, do you think it's, because you, obviously, some people said, "Oh, it's amazing, you came back and played the Doctor so easily, blah, blah, blah." But for a lot of people here who've heard you in Big Finish, you'd obviously been playing the Doctor for a very long time.
I think that's important.
Did you find it like, when you got there, you were actually in costume? Did you find it was very easy to do?
Well, what I would say to that is that I was glad about having played, doing the audio studio. Because the speed at which we shot this thing, and
did you have no time to discuss the dialogue?
There was nothing to discuss. And Moffat admitted at the weekend that he wrote it the night before. I kept saying, there's a script, he said, "Hang on a minute, this is rehearsals." So, well, look, Stephen, they built a set. I'm in costume, we were going to shoot something, there's no script. He said, hang on a minute. And eventually it arrived. So there was little room for discussion, similarly with the costume. There it was hanging on his head.
Did you have any input into the costume?
No, that was Howard Burton. He's really talented, he knows what he's doing. And the minute you saw everything, the minute the costume, I saw the costume, everything made sense, you know. But yes,
so you liked that costume? You didn't have to wear a wig either.
No, I didn't have to wear a wig. I was happy at that, I tell you. Had I had to wear a wig, probably half of the shooting day would have been dedicated to gluing it to my head. So it was just as well I didn't wear a wig. So I was very happy. Happy with the costume. I could see the sense of it. When I looked at Neil Howard Bird in the costume designer, I said, "Look, you may or may not realise this is why it's looking like this, and, narratively." So yeah, it worked, I think. It worked because it looked like something you could fight in. It wasn't so pristine as the costume of the so-called movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a reference to it. It looked like it had been in the laws, literally.
Yeah, it looked like you lived a bit.
Well, quite. Yeah, that was important. Yeah.
Is there anything that you would have liked your doctor to say before he left?
In the Night of the Doctor?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't. It really, you know, it was only when I got back into the car with the blacked out windows and they'd taken me home again. And the next couple of days, I was, because it had happened so quickly, when I got home, I thought, what was that? What did you just do? And the import of like for example, as I now realize you know, he would reference the names of the companions. And then it was only when I was home, I thought, oh yeah, now I see, now I get it, now I, you know, not that I'm preternaturally slow, but it all happened so quickly. Especially when
So when did you actually?
you know, I wasn't that steeped. My knowledge hadn't extended even to, you know, the sisterhood thing. You know, those episodes that it came from in the 70s. You know, I didn't know that stuff. So I played. It was when I got home, I tried to piece it together and I played.
So did you get the script on the morning of filming?
Piecemeal.
Actually, we're going.
Yeah.
Do you think he was actually in the background typing them up?
That's it. And you know what? Most of us, if truth be known, work best that way. Just do it. Yeah, just do it. Have a little think. But don't think too much about it. Do it. Just do it. And I think, like Stephen said so the weekend, you know, from time to time you should work like that again because it's actually, you know, when you look at what he did and what he managed to cram, not even cram, because there was even a bit in the middle, it was only 6.5 minutes long, but there's a bit in the middle, which is a longer, you know, people say, what if I get bored? This is, what's going on? And bring me missing, you know. And yet he'd sprung this surprise. You know, he revisited some old storyline. He'd resolved a couple of old questions and stuff about the Time War. There's a regeneration towards the end. All in 6 minutes. It's really clever writing. And yet you never feel that we're moving so fast that you don't get it. You know? It's really, really clever. And it although there's of course the vehicle crashes and the pilot, the cast figure, all that happens as well. Like I say, you never feel that it relies on special effects too much or crash bang wallop. There's a lot of words. The scenes are real scenes. You know, man wakes up without realizing he's dead kind of drama. I kind of like that. You know. And I thought she was fantastic. Because I'm jet lagged now, I forgot her name.
Sorry.
What's her name? We need some doctors.
Played Cass.
Oh yeah. No, played Cass. That was Emma Campbell. Played.
Just serve them all my days. What's her name? Sorry.
Well, are we terrible? If she ever sees this, we're dead. You know.
Can we Google?
Who was the lead sister in the sisterhood? Claire Higgins, the great Claire Higgins. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, no, it was really something. And then we went to Chicago. Not 10 days later or 2 weeks later, and immediately, as soon as we arrived, it was plain that. I mean, aside from anything else, all the 50th stuff had gone out anyway. Chicago was early December, wasn't it?
Yeah. Late November.
Late November, yeah. It was only a week later. And we were eager to get there just to find out the reaction anyway to the big 3D thing, the 5-ish doctors, those things that had gone out. Yeah, you know, but this would be the first time that we arrived at a convention and we were able to talk about it without lying.
Did you find yourself lying at some point? Did you actually look at someone in the eyes and go, I'm not it, I've got nothing to do with the 50 members?
Well, yes, I did. Because often the question would be, are you in the 50th? And no, I wasn't. Well, I wasn't. I was in something else. So that, anyway, that's the slack I cut myself. That's what I told myself.
Did you ever feel cheated that you hadn't done a regeneration until that point, as it were? Because it's sort of like a...
I don't think I did. I don't think I felt as cheated as some of the people that have told me that they felt cheated. Again, I suppose the accumulation of those people so often saying such a thing eventually made me feel a little bit cheated. So I kind of joined in, I came out of sympathy. But it was a really... Was it everything you thought it would be? Oh, that's like, you never forget your first. This is going to be tabloid. What on earth do you mean?
I was going for a cheap laugh. I got one, so there we go. Did you see, because obviously...
the cool thing about the weekend as well is that I met John Hurt. I never met John Hurt till this weekend. And that was with having done that regeneration thing, and in fact even my arm, they had to use my arm at one point pretending to be him. So I'd even doubled for John Hurt without ever meeting him. But anyway, we met at the weekend. And John Hurt is a bit of a hero.
Yeah.
And I made that mistake of telling him. The way you do, you just sometimes it just comes out. And, give him his due, he was quite graceful, but after about 2 minutes of it, he said, it's all right, shut up. I just sort of babbled incoherently.
Do you get the impression that he enjoyed being a doctor?
Oh yeah, people asked that at the weekend, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it. And still does, and he wants to go back and do more. Yeah. No, he loves it. He thinks it's he said he just sort of reveled in it. He said it's the only thing out there that is like it is. He said this is the kind of conversation we were having at the panel at the weekend. He just thinks it's remarkable, and he really, really enjoyed himself. Kids are asking him how he prepared for it. And quite gracefully, he said, he did a lot of reading and looking back at old episodes and trying to play catch up. And there's a lot to catch up these days.
When you did the movie, did you do the same thing? Did you go and get loads of videos out and watch old doctors?
There weren't any. In those days, there weren't. It was a strange period, that the movie. No one called it the movie. It's called it. The pilot. But because it's always worth remembering that in '96, it had already been 6 years.
Yeah.
Since Doctor Who.
7 years.
7 years since Doctor Who had ended. So it was a strange atmosphere in that regard. And you couldn't just walk. Well, of course you couldn't. There was a Doctor Who shop in London, or there was a BBC outlet anyway. But it wasn't like it is now. It's remarkable now. And even more remarkable to think that the chief function, the remit of the pilot, which later became the movie, was to try to locate an audience in the US for Doctor Who. It seems ludicrous now, sitting here just 17, 18 years later, in front of one. But that was the way it was. And Phil Segal was adamant that we could find these people. I know that somewhere they'll be there in sufficient numbers that we'll get the ratings that, because it didn't happen. Which was deeply frustrating, but that was the atmosphere in which we were.
It could have been a very different life for you, because presumably you had signed a long-term contract. So,
well, it was a standard pilot contract. It's still the same today. As probably most of you know, in the US, if you sign up, or if you want to be in a pilot, if you just want to shoot a pilot, you have to sign a contract saying if the thing is successful, it's a 6-year commitment. That's standard. It's always been. And it's all because it's completely one-sided. if things go well, then you belong to them for 6 years. If they don't, then there's the door. It's as simple as that. So, and we had to sign it. And Daphne signed it without even knowing what Doctor Who was. You know, that's the way it was. And I still remember that. I was telling people that yesterday, how 2 or 3 days into it, or nights into it, they were night shoots, mostly on the movie. And I'm sat there with McCoy and Daphne says to me, "What is this? What are we shooting? What is this?" And McCoy said, "You don't know?" And she said, "No." And we spent 2 or 3 nights of that first week of the shoot explaining it to her. And she eventually became the biggest fan of it. Yeah. So we would sit there and just...
Did you have to explain it to Eric Roberts as well? Or did he just do his own thing?
Eric just does his own thing. He's not... Yeah, Eric's Eric. He's on the planet Roberts. And he's the only inhabitant of the planet. And he's great. He's great to work. I thought he was fantastic as the master. Yeah. No, he didn't. Eric seemed to get it. He understood it. But Daphne was just. Daphne was baffled. As she would be. She was what? She was in her 20s or 30s. I'd never heard it. And that to us was justification enough. We felt like an outpost in the US trying to get this thing off the ground. It's mad to think that.
It's interesting, bearing in mind the context of what's happened now. Doctor Who has started to make inroads in the USA.
Yeah.
That's because it's been done as a really good series, and the fact it's so British is actually making inroads to some extent. Whereas what they were trying to do is try and make it a little bit too American.
Well, that was an accusation that was, or a criticism anyway, that was levelled at it, particularly after it failed to go for series. I know when we made it, before we shot it, or at least before it was released, it was what it was, and if you will, its function was tricky. Like I said, it had to try to please these notional American fans who were apparently out there somewhere with this new thing. And Daphne was a perfect example. I was like, what's this? What is this? This is fantastic. What is it? I've never heard of this before. What? You mean he can do that? What? This happened? And without putting the noses out of joint of millions of people back home, so to speak, who've been following it for 30 odd years. So it was an awkward, and it was a pilot.
Yes.
With all of the functional kind of things that pilots have to observe. So for example, when we, Siegel would say to me, or if I might say to Phil Siegel, why are we, this is so expositional. He said, I know, but this is a pilot. And what's more, this is iconic, this particular thing, you have to do this. Wear that thing. Do this thing in this kind of sequence, because this is how it's done. This is Doctor Who, man. So it was like this was how we had to make it. And but I think it's probably fair to say, even without the benefit of hindsight, that it probably fell between those two stools somewhere. It worked in parts. It had the spirit, but it didn't quite work. It didn't work. Nevertheless, even while we were making it, the shoot was maybe 7 weeks in Vancouver. There was quite a few people around, particularly North American actors, who were well versed in pilots. They'd shot a lot of pilots. And were absolutely easy with the fact that 99% of pilots had a bit of series. So, and yet, you never hear that on the set. So it was like, well, when we get back next year, when we all reconvene here next year, and this is how we talk. And my kids were little then, 5 years old, 6 years old. We were encouraged to look at local schools, because we were going to come back the next year. Me and my then wife looking at houses in the Bay, you know, because we were going to live here for 5 years. You know, so it was that kind of atmosphere. But you know, you knew inside that the chances were that
because it was very successful in the UK. It got 10.5 million viewers, which for UK viewing figures is good. I mean, in context, that's a lot more people than watch Doctor Who today in the UK. And it's a huge
it was a big audience for it.
So
I think that might be explained by just the simple fact that there was nothing else out there. It was the first thing for 7. It was the first thing for 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, it had no rival, and people were eager to see anything.
Were you sort of aware of the fact that sort of people perceived that was the end of Doctor Who when that failed?
I think it was great disappointment. Mind you, I did, when I really did, I remember this, talking with executives, particularly from the BBC, and watching their own interest in it revive, the very beginnings of it. Some of the BBC execs were a little bit embarrassed that they got rid of it anyway. And one or two of them, even despite the pilot failing in North America, as you say, a 10 million plus audience, some of them went, hang on.
Jane Tranter being one.
Somebody said, you know what, perhaps this ain't over after all. And though it was a long process, it would be, another 8, 9 years before we'd see Eccleston's Doctor. Or maybe I'm just being hopeful or rewriting history. But we feel, those of us that worked on the pilot, perhaps some of you were present when, it was a couple of years back, Phil Siegel turned up and we talked about this thing. And in our ways, we all feel satisfied. It's vindicated a little bit. That what they're now calling the wilderness years. I like that. It makes it sound quite Churchillian.
It was good. The BFI recently did a string of events for the 50th anniversary, and you obviously went along to and we were all there. I went to see it as well, and I hadn't seen the pilot for quite some time.
I think it holds up.
It does hold up.
Yeah,
and it is very good, and it actually, you can see how it bridges classic Doctor Who and the new Doctor Who.
That was what he wanted. That was what Phil wanted. That was the idea, the basic idea behind it. You know, and like I say, that's what got me into it. And it is what it is at the end of the day. But somewhere in that continuum, somewhere along the line, we kept something going. Whether it was only the BBC's interest, it was enough. And I think people, Moffat himself, Russell T Davies before, were graceful enough to say that without that, literally there'd have been nothing. And perhaps there wouldn't have been sufficient momentum even to see the TV series revive.
I mean, one of the biggest shots in the arm that Big Finish had was when you agreed to come and be the Doctor again for Big Finish.
What year was that?
That was
that's where I live. That's where the late Doctor lives. He lives on the radio.
Would you believe that was actually 2000?
Stop
it. It was. It was 14 years ago. When you bounced into those studios in Bristol.
I know. Tempest Fugits. Muchacha.
But it was. We had a writers' meeting in which we asked people to write the Doctor Who, and in that room were Steve Moffat and Mark Gatiss.
When was this?
This was 1999. And Mark Gatiss said, yep, fine. And he actually wrote Peter Davison's first story for us. And it was great, okay. And Steve Moffat actually, this is the, we've had this in several books, but Steve Moffat actually walked out a bit of a huff because he said, if we're not doing McGann, I'm not doing it. And at the time, you hadn't been, we hadn't agreed a deal with your agent for you to come and do it. So
that wasn't Janet Field.
It was after Janet. It was yeah. So we had
that would have been neat, wouldn't it? That's your deal with Tegan.
Which you know how long it took us to get her to come and do Doctor Who? No, we can't get rid of that. No, we were discussing it, and I couldn't guarantee to Steve Moffat that he'd be writing for you. And his view was, if he wasn't writing for the present Doctor, creating new stuff in a new environment, because he wanted something new, that it wasn't for him. So maybe he had that back all this time. In terms of getting you out, because he wanted to write for you. So
that's nice to hear.
But
I had my little champion even back then.
But it was
I was really happy. I was happy to. I said this before. It started quite slowly. The other stuff. Was the probably any other expression, but the business model, was it the same then as it is now? No. It wasn't.
No. It was very much slightly winging the prayer. As I said earlier on, actually, we actually sort of invented. Kickstarter, thank you. We sort of did Kickstarter beforehand because we originally we were going to do 6 productions a year, and Gary was going to work part time on his own.
It's Gary Russell.
Yeah. So we ended up doing within the first 3 months. It became obvious that the response and the desire for the production was so high. We moved to 12 a year, and then we got you in 2000. We started in 99, and then suddenly we were racking up, and we were spending an awful lot of money.
Whose were the first productions? I mean, which Doctors did you?
We did a production called Signs of Time, which was Peter, Sylvester, and Collins.
Oh, yeah, you did that.
Yeah. So we thought there's 2 ways of starting it off. Just get in there and just do rotating Doctors, or we do a story which has the 3 Doctors who you knew. But don't get at that point, you've never done a convention, so we've never met you.
Of course.
So,
international man of mystery.
Yeah. Well, that was amazing. You turned up, we didn't know what to expect. So you turned up to the studio.
I could have been one of my brothers, couldn't I?
Yeah.
I could have set my head down.
Now, there's an idea. Anyway.
There is an idea.
You should get some of your brothers in, actually. Or do you all sound the same?
No,
Joe sounds very different, doesn't he? There's bits of you that sound like Steve.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. More alike, actually. But Joe definitely. Anyway, sorry. So when you came in, we were a bit. I remember having the conversation with Gary, and Gary said, he may come in just not like enjoying doing this. This may be the only 4 productions we ever get before McGann. And I thought, yeah, right, okay. So that's why everyone was a little bit on eggshells to make sure we were happy. And
it was being made to feel happy. I must have missed that bit. Joe.
You were ecstatic, sure.
I remember getting a sandwich. That was about it. Curly sandwich.
It's renowned for its good food. But it was great.
And what was the first script we did?
You did Storm Warning.
Storm Warning.
Although it was the 3rd one we did, actually, because deliberately we thought we'd let you get back into being the Doctor before we did the introductory one. The first one we did was Friends of Venice. So,
was that the very first one?
And then we went back and did some. But you had a fantastic companion in England. Russell T. Davis, as you said later on, because that series actually had a big impact on him, because he drifted away from Doctor Who quite a lot. He was doing other things, career state and all that sort of thing. Yeah. And actually, but he was a subscriber, and he got the audio came through, and he started listening to your relationship with India and Charlie, and it made him really, really fall in love with Doctor Who again. And he said, if there hadn't been a Charlie, there would never have been a Rose. Because he actually took little bits, because the 2 of you worked so well that there was it naturally evolved. But in the 2nd season we did it was so much easier to write because we felt we knew you a bit. Whereas if you think about it, we were basing your Doctor on 50 minutes of screen time, because the first half hour was Sylvester. So, and for half of that, you were a bit befuddled and confused. I was going to say diffused. So really, we sort of, if you remember, we did chat to you about what you'd like to do, desperate to find out how you view the Doctor, so that we could write it more. So if you look at the second season, for example, it's more written for you and India because we sort of got what you were about.
Yeah.
So it was, but it was, yeah. I mean, Russell's being very, very complimentary about the impact that those shows had on him.
In those days, I mean, were you working? Did Big Finish have to? I mean, was it under the aegis of the BBC, or did you have to have a relationship with the BBC?
Yeah, it was all BBC worldwide, but
right.
I still say they got.
So you had to run everything by the scripts and all the.
Yeah, absolutely. Still do. I mean, actually, it's without going into too many details, it is very strictly regulated.
Yeah.
You know, when Russell got the series back, we were one of the very first people to find out that Russell was going to be back, because there was 3 pictures in. I'm starting to talk about things that probably shouldn't.
Well done.
So we found out about it. Absolutely. Not that you were on the internet and everything, are you? So when Russell got the permission to bring Doctor Who back, it was really exciting. It was going to happen. Russell said, "Don't worry." And actually, this is not public because it was in the documentary on 50 years ago too. And Russell, there was a producer called Mal Young, a senior, yes, at BBC, and he discovered about us. He discovered all about us, and in a meeting, he said, "Big Finish, they're producing drama based on Doctor Who. Are we going to allow them to do this?" And Russell, as he described in the documentary, drew himself up to his full 6'5" or whatever it was, and said, "Don't worry, I'll deal with them. It'll be fine." Give it to me. And he basically headed him off the path because Marianne was like, I don't like this idea that other people are doing drama. And
I can't tell you how close that you came to.
we came very close. Russell actually
To being Mal Young.
Yeah, yes, and
That's a big deal.
well, that's one thing. But
That's all I'm going to say.
he
was head of drama for BBC, of course.
Yeah, he was very helpful.
He wasn't.
Russell stopped him, and that was it.
But since those days, there's been, I mean, the relationship now, for example, between Cardiff and Big Finish is good, isn't it?
It's fantastic, it's amazing. I mean, we've given them scripts.
Yeah. Swapped personnel.
Yeah, I mean, literally. I mean, Nick Briggs got to do the Daleks on television because he was doing the Daleks for us. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And Russell loved him with love Daleks. Gary Russell, having worked for me for 3 or 4 years, had suddenly got Russell decided he needed another script editor, script producer, and contacted Gary and said, "Do you want to come for an interview for a job that you will get?" So it was like, oh, and it was a bit like, oh, he felt a bit guilty of not leaving us, as it were. But it was like, yeah, you're going to be script editor on Doctor Who, for God's sake, go and do it, you know. And
it's a no-brainer at Morgan.
absolutely, in jokes.
Catch me while I'm hot.
So it was. We've always had a very, very close relationship with Cardiff, and that's continued. I mean, as I have told a few times, Big Finish is actually, I've known Steve Moffat for 20 years, and Big Finish is actually one of my favourite series when I was growing up was Press Gang. Big Finish is actually the final episode title of season 2 of Press Gang.
There you go.
So we've been very connected with Steve. But it's.
I've got to say, in November when we went to Chicago, and since then as well, I've noticed, as I'm sure you have, a real leap in interest in the United States for the audio drama.
Absolutely.
It's gone through the roof. It's great. Back home in Britain, we and working as an actor in Britain, you can spend most of your working life on the radio. You know, it's part of it. You work television, you work, radio is a career. But here, where I think probably radio drama was invented, way back when, there doesn't seem to be any more the strong tradition of it. So I think it's a real shame. But now, more and more people are coming up and saying to us, not only did I get into it by my friend also did, a lot of good word of mouth about it. And when you guys drive, you tend to take 5-hour car journeys, which is the perfect length for a couple of CDs, So, what with everything, it's making a difference.
It is, and it's great. It's very fortuitous that when we decided to slightly reboot Your Doctor with Dark Eyes, that actually coincided with you doing Night of the Doctor, because when we didn't know that Night of the Doctor was going to happen, when we decided to reboot it, but it did come out with you in a new costume and a new start, which was very useful. I mean, Dark Eyes has been incredibly successful, and it's we went.
We're getting better at this kind of thing.
15 years better.
But I know that sounds corny, but it's true. Technically, we're getting better. Because even of course since 2000, the technology's left ahead. Anyway, but the ways of working it.
We used to go on dance.
The way that we work. And just I don't know, just the soundscapes of it. But of course, the writing. It's just you can't. All the machinery in the world, but the writing's not up to scratch. Then you ain't got a good story. The writing just gets better and better.
And with
it's a purpose.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, come on, you guys do some talking.
Just one point though, before I finish about Dark Eyes, and that is that the BBC each year have the BBC Audio Awards. Every year, it's won by internal BBC producers, etc. And we got shortlisted, we got nominated for Dark Eyes for Best Drama, and we thought there's no way in hell we're ever going to win this, because we're up against all the guys from the BBC. And literally, we sat there in the awards room, all these things were just written out, were read out, and all of it was BBC. Everybody was winning was a BBC production, obviously. And we came to our section, and we were like, and then they called our names. We went up there, and we looked down, and there was the Director General of the BBC sitting there, and Nick gave a fantastic speech about how much this meant to him, because he felt that the BBC had provided him with an education in how to do all this. And it was so important to him that the BBC had supported Big Finish and had been there for us.
That's really good.
So it was fantastic.
So you can up with award winning on your message.
You are, well, yeah. I mean, you're the lead actor in the award winning production.
Oh, it's nothing to do with me, was it? Come on, we should take this question.
Questions. He was first, by some way. You're going to project.
Yeah, it's a tiny room.
So, Paul, having done this for such a long time, playing the Doctor, taking him on as long of a journey as you have, did it change your perspective on playing the character, finally getting to see where that transition period came, where you stopped and the next guy started? Did it complete the journey in any way for you or change anything?
Yeah, it did, but really slowly. I mean, like you just described, it was all in real time. And also when we shot the pilot way back when, because I sat down with Phil Segal in the months before, we talked about the character and the ideas we would have if this thing that I went to see us. And slowly but surely, some of those ideas are being ticked off. In the intervening years. Having the Eighth Doctor, like I said, he lives on audio. Aggregately, I've shot about 6 weeks of Doctor Who visually.
Well, you've done more episodes than David Tennant and Matt Smith put together.
Oh,
audio. You spent more time.
The longest longest and the shortest. But yeah, in answer to your question, yes. You know, it's, I've said this before and I'll say it again, you know, the feeling, just personally, I mean, I'm talking as Paul the actor rather than the character, I felt that, at least to start with, and those years being the so-called wilderness years, that the Eighth Doctor was felt like a bit of an aberration at first, and then he was, you know, more tolerated than accepted. But of course, that's all changed. I noticed now even on the photographs that if you could lay the photographs out in chronological order that I've signed down the years, you'll see the Eighth Doctor sneak in sort of in the margin as a sort of cloudy blur at the back, as an afterthought down in the corner. But slowly over the years, he's got himself to upstage centre, or right in the middle. It's very gratifying. You know, anyways, but he's accepted that, which is a good thing. The next one, if you face that down there.
I was really excited to see you work with your son as your great-grandson. I love him. And I love the idea that he was kind of dangled as a companion before, you know.
Yeah.
And I also love you working with McGann as Fitz, which was an awesome short. How do you feel about having like a male companion or maybe two companions like Smith has done? You know, everybody loves Rory. I just love the dynamic of having a guy in the mix.
Yeah, I agree with that. It seems now we're turning over companions if we finish with an irregularity now from what we're doing. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. You know, just to keep the dynamic changing anyway every couple of years or so. Yeah, I never thought about that. You're absolutely
You always
right.
have great friendships, you know, when he's got male companions. It's so
Yeah, I agree. But the female companions, often the females are wiser than he is. It doesn't quite work when it's two other guys. It's not plausible anymore. Because guys ain't like that.
You're very proud of Sheridan, what she's achieved recently.
Yeah, I miss her, though. I miss them all, but Sheridan, it felt like she was snatched away from us, really. Superstardom intervened.
We just couldn't get her in the same room as you.
I know, but the prophecy was not companion at all, really. Yeah. Great actress, though. I think Ruth Bradley's a fantastic. She's amazing talent. Goes into the dark hours, so she's
Working with Mr. McQueen this week.
well, there's Catholic sort of Tom, but nonetheless. Anyway, just any more.
That gentleman.
Hi. First of all, just watching you as an actor is tremendous. I love watching you as amazing. So, as Paul McGann, the actor, the guy who steps into the skin of your doctor, all three of the awesome, solid looks. What is your prep when you see him in your head? What's the look that
I've got to say that, you know, unlike most actors, most working actors, good actors, are still at their best if you give them one clear emotion, you know, to do. Or in my own case, I think it's because I grew up as a kid watching, in those days, in the early 70s, American indie cinema and the likes of Jack Nicholson and others who at the time. Nicholson now is this, later on became a kind of parody of himself. But back in the day, I tell you, he was the most subtle, resourceful. He was the kind of actor that seems strange to say, but he didn't give it all away. He managed to, and I loved that as a kid. I was fascinated by that before I even thought of being an actor. And when I did become an actor, I tried, and I always have done. I felt best anyway. I've worked best when in that not giving it away, not being too obvious, not being so expositional, keeping something back, and it works there. It works.